Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we will be discussing why The Walking Dead TV show feels like two different shows. So there are three main reasons why The Walking Dead main show feels like it's two different TV shows. This video I will be going over each of those reasons. So the first reason, obviously, is Andrew Lincoln leaving the show. You have the main lead leaving the show, so you have no main character anymore. So from seasons 9B to 11C, it really feels like there's no main character. It's just all the side characters coming together to try and create one main character, but it doesn't really work. The only character that it kind of worked with was Daryl, and that's pretty much it. Daryl was always a side character, but he didn't really work well for a main character in the main show. He works as very well as a main character in his own spin-off show, his spin-off show is amazing. I love it, 10 out of 10. But when Rick left the show, you can easily see the decline of the show go downhill really fast, especially in season 10 when Rick is not in it at all. Season 10 is my least favorite season. I think almost everything that could have gone wrong went wrong with that season, and they just made so many bad decisions. Like season 10C, there was like one good episode in there. Well, the Aaron and Gabriel episode was really good. I liked the Maggie and Daryl episode, and the Negan episode is just phenomenal. It's the best It's the best episode in season 10. If you were a comic reader when Rick left the show, then you would see these storylines kind of unfold in the show with characters like Daryl and like Ezekiel, because in the comics, if you didn't know, spoilers for the comics, but if you didn't know, Ezekiel does die in the comics. He is on the Pikes along with Rosita. So those two characters they had like no story to go off of in season 10 and 11. What they did with Rosita, I really liked a lot, and with Ezekiel, they kind of just took some of Rick's storyline and gave it to Ezekiel, and took some of Rick's storyline and gave it to Daryl. If you were a comic reader, you could tell this immediately, and I wouldn't say I wasn't a fan of it. I would have loved it if Andrew Lincoln stuck around, but this leads us right to our next issue. It is highly rumored that Andrew Lincoln left the show because they killed Carl. I have seen some Reddit comments from Chandler Riggs saying how Andrew Lincoln wanted to leave because he missed his family, and they've been doing the show for 8 years at the point, but then when they killed Carl off, it really upset Andrew Lincoln, and that's one of the reasons why he wanted to leave the show. Not having Carl in the show is the biggest mistake they ever made, and they couldn't do his storyline anymore. They tried to give it to Henry, which I was kind of fine with, but then they went and they killed Henry. So now they have no one to give Carl's storyline to except Judith, and they didn't even really do that. Because they weren't going to go and kill Daryl off in season 11. They can't do that. If they do that, they lose all of their views immediately. And it's a shame that Judith gets the hate that she gets. I love Judith as a character. She's really great. But if I had to pick Judith or Carl, I'm obviously going to pick Carl. So far, you don't have your main lead, and you don't have what is basically going to be your main character, Carl Grimes. In the comics, after Rick dies, Carl is the last surviving member from the beginning of the comics with Sophia. So they don't have the main story character, and they don't have the other main character, because Carl is pretty much the main character of the comics. But Rick Grimes is the main character that we see throughout the story, if you get what I mean. So you don't have your two main characters anymore. And then the quality dip from I'd say it started in season 7, when after 701. 701 was a phenomenal episode and I loved it, but after 701, the writing, the quality of everything, it just went downhill. They got some terrible actors in the show, like all of Oceanside. I can't stand Oceanside. I don't like any of the actors, and I'm not trying to be rude to the actors. I'm sure they're great in other roles. It's just these Walking Dead roles were not meant for these actors. All of bringing Oceanside into the story earlier was a terrible idea. They should have just stuck with the comic route, which I will be making another video about that. So when you lose your two main characters, one of them was on purpose to lose, one of them wanted to leave, and now the quality is going downhill of the writing and the directing and the acting. It's very, very sad, but it did happen, and that's the reason why The Walking Dead feels like two different shows. From seasons 1 to 6, the quality was phenomenal, the acting phenomenal, and then season 7 to 11, they made some horrible decisions. They killed off some characters that should not have been killed off, like Carl. Andrew Lincoln, the main lead, left the show, and the quality just went downhill. The quality just, it's so bad after season 7, it's sad. But they kind of, season 7 and 8, the quality was terrible. Season 9 was kind of a comeback. I do like season 9. 901 to 905 are phenomenal episodes. But 908, they killed off Jesus. It's a good episode, but they killed off Jesus. And that's because they wouldn't give, well, from what we've heard, it's because they wouldn't give Tom Paine, the actor of Jesus, the fighting scenes that were in the comic. Because he really wanted that. And it's just, I don't know why AMC wouldn't do what the actors want and what the fans want and stick to the source material. Because 9 times out of 10, when you stick to source material, it is a better story than branching off and making some stupid, faulty adaptation. From season 7 to 11, the quality goes so downhill so quickly that you can visibly see it. They cut budgets everywhere, and they could have kept the quality up if Andrew Lincoln left the show and they kept Carl around. Because Andrew Lincoln, they were giving him the most amount of money, so why don't he's leaving, so give like half of what they were giving to Andrew Lincoln to Chandler Riggs, and then the quality will be up even more because you have that extra money. But then they just decided to do so many stupid decisions and they split off, and it just, that is pretty much it for this video. I will see all of you tomorrow in the next video. See ya.